Smell! The big red machine is here! Woo! Get stealing! Woo! Wheeling dealing! Limousine riding! Jet flying! Son of a gun!
From the past.
I am a real American.
To the present. And the future.
Chair of wheels, more of lawn. Chair of wheels, more of lawn.
You are listening to Penn State's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Marking Out, Penn State's only professional wrestling exclusive talk show. I'm your host, Jason Marcus, and joined with me today, I have a very special guest, my good friend, Cody Klein. Cody, how are you today?
Pretty good, man. A little tired, but ready to go.
Absolutely. We had a really good, exciting weekend of pro wrestling action. We had Extreme Rules on Sunday. We had Raw last night. Before we get into that, I just want to let the fans know a little bit of background. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into professional wrestling? How long have you been watching? That kind of stuff.
Oh, how long have I been watching? Wait, a long time. I like, back when, I'm 36, so back when I was a kid, like when I was like, 10, 12, whatever, I was into it, watched it for a while. I guess I got it with my parents. And then lost it for a little bit and just recently got back into it the last couple of years. When I was a kid, liked all the good guys except for Razor Ramon.
You didn't like Razor Ramon?
No, I loved Razor Ramon.
Oh, you loved Razor Ramon. So who was your favorite growing up?
I think Razor and, Bret Hart was the guy,
Yeah,
so.
the Hitman. Best there ever was, best there ever is, best there ever will be. Absolutely.
You know it.
All right, so let's start getting into this action because we got a lot that we got to cover. Of course, a lot of things happened. Before we go into Extreme Rules, I'm going to address the elephant in the room here, and that is the big storyline non-in-ring related, and that is, of course, the reinstatement of one Mr. Hulk Hogan to the WWE Hall of Fame. For those of you who don't know, he's been kind of on a what would you call it, like an informal suspension for the last 3 years.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, so he basically came out with a tirade of pretty much racist remarks, and for the past 3 years, the company has kind of been trying to erase him from the history books, which is easier said than done when it's Hulk Hogan. But they announced this past week that he has been reinstated into their company. He's officially back part of that Hall of Fame. Cody, I want to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel about it, and what do you think Hulk's role with the company will be moving forward?
Well, I didn't really hear much about it, so, I know Vince has been trying to crack down on a lot of stuff, so I get what he's done. But he's back in it. You always love Hogan, so I don't know. I hope the ambassadorship that he's done for a while, kicks back off again, and, we'll see him at pay-per-views and a little bit of, Raw once in a while, maybe.
Do you think he's going to wrestle?
Oh, man. Hogan would do anything, so you never know.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Hogan absolutely would do anything. Right, well, that's enough we have on Hogan. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing what his involvement with the company will be over the course of the next couple months. So let's go right into this Extreme Rules pay-per-view. It was a long pay-per-view, a lot of stuff to happen. The first match we had was on the pre-show. It was between Andrade Cien Almas and Sin Cara, a rematch from their match that they had the previous week on SmackDown. Cody, I want to get your thoughts on Andrade Almas. Do you like him, or what do you see from him?
So far I'm liking him. I like the manager.
Yeah, Zelina Vega.
You know it. I don't know much. I don't watch a whole lot of NXT, so I didn't see anything from before.
Fair.
But I kind of like what I see so far on what I've seen on Raw. I missed the pre-show this weekend, but
yeah.
He looks good. He looks like he could be a powerful influence on the roster.
Absolutely. I think he has done so far more than a lot of any of these NXT call-ups have done in their first few weeks on the main roster. It looks like he should be in for a decent mid-card push if things keep going his way. So Andrade almost picked up the win over Sin Cara once again over the pre-show at Extreme Rules. The other match on the pre-show was a tables match between the New Day and Sanity. Sanity picked up the win here, and I'm curious to get your opinion on what do you think the New Day goes from here? Because for a long time they had those those long title runs, and now it kind of feels like they're in this lull in their career where it's like, well, how much more can they do? There's talks about them being split up into singles competitors. Would you like that? Did you want to see that? What's your feelings on the New Day?
Well, New Day rocks, right?
Yeah.
So, I like New Day. I like them together. I like them as singles. They've always been like those exciting guys. I mean, Big E's be the power guy, obviously. But,
Right.
Like, you know, Kofi's always been a fan favorite. I'd still like them to see them stay together, but yeah, have them try and go for, you know, a little singles run. You know, maybe a U.S. title or Intercontinental title or something like that. That would be cool.
I know Kofi and Xavier would love to say that before they retire, they want to try and get Kofi to be WWE champion. I don't know how plausible that is given the landscape right now in the WWE and just how many big stars there are. But certainly Kofi's had an incredible career. And I do hope, I don't really want to see them split up. I don't think they would do well as single stars. I think they're much better together as that 3-person tag team. So hopefully they continue there. Sanity, however, just made their call up to the main roster. We'll see where they go. You would figure a SmackDown Tag Team title shot is in the next couple months, possibly SummerSlam. But we'll see. To me, they remind me so much of the Wyatt family. It almost feels like the same gimmick, a little different, but pretty much the same. So Wyatt family fizzled out after a little bit. Of course, now you have Harper and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, so there is hope. But is that a feud that you'd want to see, Bludgeon Brothers and maybe Sanity together? Yeah,
Sanity looks like they could go against anyone. And you see these 3-team guys coming in, too. So, like, and I don't know much about it, but I know that it seems to be on some of the other...
right, so over in NXT, you have Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. Yeah, a lot of these big factions, and I think that has a lot to do with the New Japan influence with the Bullet Club. So factions definitely making a big return here in the WWE. So let's go continue on to the main card of Extreme Rules. The first match of the night saw the Deleters of the World, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against the B Team of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Going into this match, what did you think? What was your expectations?
Well, the B Team has been on a roll, you know, but I thought the Leaders of the World's kind of had it in the bag. You know what I mean? They're experienced. They've been together for a while. They seem to have been on a roll. But B Team, man, they haven't lost in weeks. So
yeah,
I thought it was up in the air, but I was more Deleters of Worlds, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is important to note that since The Miz went to SmackDown, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are actually on that undefeated streak, as you were saying. So, but even in going into Extreme Rules, they did seem to be the underdogs on the podcast last week. I did think they would pick up the win, but I wasn't 100% sure. They ended up actually winning the match, winning the Raw Tag Team titles. What did you think of that finish? Do you like them as the Raw Tag Team champions?
Oh, I love them. They're great. They've been great. Like on the mic, they've been great in the ring. They've been, on a roll and loving it. The celebration, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how the feud goes. See if they keep it rolling, or if why they come back and whenever the rematch happens here, and see if they can defend their titles.
Yeah, they've been very entertaining. Even after winning the titles at Extreme Rules throughout the show, they would have like those little moments where
continuous celebration all night long.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to see what they do as Raw Tag Team Champions. I hope they have a long reign. I very well could see them being squashed to like someone like the Authors of Pain within like the next month or so, but I hope that's not the case. The next match on the show we had was between Finn Balor and Constable Baron Corbin. I was really underwhelmed in the build-up to this match. There really wasn't much else. Like I said on the podcast, the best thing they had going for them was like beef on Twitter, which is basically one was like you're bald and the other one was you're small, and like that was the entire feud. That's why they were fighting. But how do you feel about these two guys, Finn and Baron Corbin?
I love Finn. I think he's great. You know, he's great in the ring. The high flyer, the missile drop kicks. I love him. And I've never been a big fan of Corbin, so I was like into this match. I was ready to root for Finn and see if he could take him down as the little guy.
Yeah. I love Finn. I think he deserves so much more than what he's getting right now. This match ends when Finn Balor actually does get the win here, albeit with a small package, so it's not a definitive win. I do like the finish, though, because it kind of it doesn't hurt both guys. Finn gets the win, but Corbin doesn't look like a complete loser coming out of it.
It seemed like he almost dominated the match much the way, yeah.
Right, so I'm interested to see where both of these guys go from here, because I think they are two very solid mid-carders, but just not a whole lot of creative behind them at this point. So we'll see where they go from here. But we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to finish recapping the Extreme Rules card. You are listening to Marking Out, Penn State's only professional wrestling podcast, and we will be right back.
Now back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Welcome back to Marking Out, Penn State's only professional wrestling exclusive podcast. I'm your host, Jason Marcus. Alongside with me today is Cody Klein, fan of professional wrestling for well over 10 years. And today we are breaking down Extreme Rules and Monday Night Raw from last night. The next match we're going to get into here is the match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was between the champion Carmella defending against Asuka, with James Ellsworth suspended in a shark cage above the ring. Cody, what did you think about this whole shark cage nonsense?
Oh, the shark cage. I've seen it so many times. I was okay with it. I don't like the distractions too much, especially from Ellsworth. You know,
yeah.
He's been like a weirdo for a while. You know. But you know, I was ready to see the match. Just I was cool that he was up in the air. You know.
Yeah, I think Ellsworth is very entertaining, but I just think the whole gimmick of I'm just not a fan of the shark cage. It's so dumb to me.
It's always had something go on with it, though. You know.
Yeah.
With, China and who was the last one that was in it? Jericho last year.
Yep. Yeah, he dropped the U.S. title down from the cage.
Yeah.
So it just feels very WCW to me, like when they used to have like those Buff Bagwell and a pole matches. It just feels so gimmicky and just not, I don't know. I guess it works for some people. I'm just not a huge fan. But nonetheless, so we had the match between Asuka and Carmella, and I guess James Ellsworth falls out of the cage or gets hung by the cage or something. I don't even know what happened there.
Yeah, somehow he just ends up hanging from his boot from the cage, and Asuka starts kicking him.
Yeah, which was a great moment. I loved seeing that. He looked like a human pinata there.
Oh, yeah.
But the finish of the match is Asuka's attacking James Ellsworth as he's hanging from this cage. Carmella comes up from behind, shoves Asuka into the shark cage, and pins her clean. What did you think of this finish, Cody?
Another distraction type finish for Carmella. You never know if is she really winning it, or is this happening because of Ellsworth or something else.
Right, and I wouldn't have so much with the problem with the finish if it was the problem that I had was that it was against Asuka, who you spent so much time building up as like this undefeated empress, and ever since she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania, her stock has been plummeting at an exponential rate. When's the last time she got a big win? It was probably the Royal Rumble. She hasn't had a big win in 6 months.
I would agree with you there. Yeah, she has. She hasn't won anything lately. No.
Yeah, so I don't like the way. I understand what you have to do to keep Carmella looking like a strong heel, but Asuka I just feel like is the wrong choice to be putting Carmella over, because I think she's too good of a talent to be being booked the way she is. But
I think she'll get the belt soon enough.
Hopefully. I thought she was going to get it this Sunday, but maybe SummerSlam's the place.
Yeah, SummerSlam. Well, you never know. Everything can happen at SummerSlam too, there. You know,
right?
I mean, that's the saying I'm probably going to say most of the time, but anything can happen. So.
Yeah, it is the second biggest show of the year, so they do like to save those big crowning moments for that show. So hopefully Asuka wins the belt at SummerSlam if she's in the match. Up next, we have the United States Championship match between the champion Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. I talked about on the podcast last week that I don't know if it's fair to say if Shinsuke Nakamura's main roster run is a fail at this point, because he had those 2 programs for the WWE title, one with Jinder Mahal, one with AJ Styles, lost all of those matches. He really needed this belt badly. He needed something. The match is actually one of the shortest on the card. Shinsuke hits Jeff Hardy with a low blow before the match even starts, right into a Kinshasa for the 1-2-3, and Shinsuke actually wins the United States Championship. What do you think about how this played out?
Well, I don't know, to quote Michael Cole, vintage Shinsuke.
Shinsuke, yeah.
That's what it seems like right now, but he needed the win. I think he did what he had to do to get the belt, and does it think he can't beat Jeff Hardy without the low blow?
I don't know. I think it's just
being vintage Shinsuke.
Yeah,
he's
it's the only thing he does now.
Yeah.
So,
but quick match over and done with.
Do you think Shinsuke will have a long U.S. title run? If you had to put a couple months on it, how long do you think this goes?
Oh, I don't know. I think.
Does he have it at WrestleMania?
WrestleMania March. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, with what happened after the match.
Right, and why don't we go into that? So after the match, Shinsuke wins the U.S. title. We get a surprise return from the Viper, Randy Orton. You big Randy Orton fan?
I love Randy.
Yeah.
He's always been a great guy,
I think we were talking a little bit earlier before the podcast about how Randy Orton is, when he was a babyface, to me he was just so boring, but he comes in here, he returns, everyone thinks he's going to, attack Shinsuke, but instead he goes after Jeff, thus going back to his old ways of being that heel. Mm. Do you like this heel turn for Randy Orton, or did you prefer him as, the good guy?
I was not really the fan of the good guy. I mean, I like Orton either way. He is Orton, but the Viper, man.
I just think Orton's such a natural heel that he's just so much better in this role than him trying to play babyface. So I'm excited for the way that he's back. I'm excited that he's a heel. It looks like he'll probably be going into a program with Jeff. That would be my guess. Maybe it's a 3-way between the two of them and Shinsuke for the U.S. belt.
Possible.
But either way, happy to have Orton back. Glad he's a heel.
Yeah.
Up next, we had a backstage segment between Kurt Angle, and he was actually saying that, referencing the Universal Championship, where he said Brock Lesnar hasn't defended his title in over 30 days, and if he does not come to Raw the next night and I essentially say when he's going to defend the belt next, he was going to strip him of the Universal Championship. Cody, what did you think about this backstage segment? And more importantly, do you like Kurt Angle as a GM figure?
So far I'm iffy with Kurt Angle. I liked him right away, but now I'm not sure what's going on. Especially with his Constable Corbin thing and whatever Stephanie McMahon's trying to do with that. But I did like the move. I liked the call out, especially from a manager role. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've had it from Roman, and we've had it from a couple guys that he doesn't come and show up. But I liked it from Angle, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Kurt because, I like Kurt as the wrestler, but Kurt is the manager. If I'm just being blunt about it, he is an awful actor. And it's sometimes painful to watch. It's really awkward sometimes. But as far as the storyline goes about him potentially stripping the title, obviously there were some developments on Monday Night Raw that we'll get to in a little bit, but I thought it was a good way to kind of break up the show. Obviously, the Universal Championship needed some sort of storyline.
I was surprised they didn't do it in the ring and just did it backstage, especially because Angle's from Pittsburgh, and that's where they were.
Right, that's true. I didn't think about that.
So, but yeah, I like the move. It was a good move there, especially, like you said, to break up the show.
Yeah. So more on that on Monday Night Raw when we get to it, but that was the segment at Extreme Rules. Up next, we had a steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens.
KO.
And tell me about it. What do you think about these two guys? Are you a fan of Strowman and Owens?
I'm a fan of both, yes. I love Owens. Owens is great in the ring.
He's such a good heel.
Yeah. And he is such a good heel. And he can run the mic better, as good than anyone else. So I do like Owens, from top to bottom, though.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the company for those reasons that you said. He's great in the ring. He's hilarious. He's always good on the mic. He's probably one of the best promo guys within the entire company. So I love Owens. And then Strowman, of course, is, a beast of a man. So I think it was a good matchup. The build is a little odd for me, but overall, the match itself was okay. Of course, there was one moment at the match, the finish of the match, which will probably be talked about for years to come within the company. And the spot was Kevin Owens was looking to escape the cage. Braun catches him on the top of the cage. They both stand up on the very top of the cage, and it looks like out of the scene from King Kong with Strowman on top of there. And Strowman choke slams Kevin Owens off the cage, 20 feet off the cage, and through the announce table. What were you thinking when you were watching this play out?
Well, Well, when Owens got up to the top, I was like, oh wait, there's no way he's gonna win. Strowman's gonna get there, right? So he gets there, and I'm like, is he really just gonna throw him out and lose the match just to beat him up, to destroy him, And well, sure enough, there it is.
Yeah, Kevin Owens obviously wins the match. I think we actually have the clip, so I'm going to play this for a second here. We have the clip of Braun Strowman throwing Kevin Owens off the cage. Here it is.
Top of the steel cage. No. Oh my God! Don't do it, Braun! Don't do it! Oh my God! No!
Absolutely awesome.
Oh my God!
I thought it was so awesome because it's new, it's fresh, because they haven't done anything like that in a while. But I want to get your opinion. Where do you think this spot ranks on the all-time list of high spots? Obviously, you have the infamous Mankind off the cell. You have
apparently that's the best fall. That's the best fall. It's what everyone says it's the best fall.
Right. Yeah. That's not gonna. No one's gonna top that.
Yeah.
But you also have Shane jumping off the cell. I would probably put that 3. I think Mankind's 1. I think Shane's 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is 3, and maybe I'm overlooking some of the other ones. But I thought this was a really great moment that, like I said, I think is going to be talked about.
Yeah,
for a
it's
long,
arguably
long time.
up there in the top 10 for sure. I mean, Shane's got a lot of moments there too.
Right.
From
SummerSlam
all over
01,
the place,
hit by Steve Blackman, falls off the Titantron. That's pretty up there, too.
Yeah.
So the more I talk about it, the more it probably falls down the card. But we'll appreciate it for what it was. It was a really great moment here. And at the end of the day, Kevin Owens wins the match, but I don't know if you can call him a winner at the end of it. So that was that match. Up next, we had the SmackDown Tag Team titles between the Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No. Before we got this, we had a backstage segment where Harper and Rowan attacked Daniel Bryan and Kane. Kane looked like to have injured his ankle, so the first couple of minutes of the match, it's a handicap match.
Oh, yeah.
Bludgeon Brothers versus Daniel Bryan. Kane comes in midway through, but nonetheless, the Bludgeon Brothers pick up the win here. What is your opinion on both the Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No?
I didn't see Team Hell No from before. It was part of the time where I was out of it. I like Daniel Bryan. I've seen him for what he's been in the past few years. And so I was into Hell No. I was ready to see him compete and see what they could do. The Bludgeon Brothers seem unstoppable right now, and but then you get that thing in the backstage, but you don't see how it starts or anything. And then all of a sudden they put the mallet to Kane's ankle, and there it kind of looks like the match is over,
Right.
So
I thought it was an okay match. I thought The Miz was going to get involved in here, but he didn't have much to do on the show. It's just a clean win for the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
They continue their dominant tag team title reign. Like I said earlier, I think the next move is maybe a feud with Sanity. I think that's probably where they go
I
from
could
here.
see that. I could see that.
As far as where Daniel Bryan's future goes, we talked in the podcast last week that one of the big stories outside of the ring was that we didn't know what Daniel Bryan's contract situation was going to be. It was scheduled to be up in September. Reports are now coming out that he just signed a 2-year deal with the WWE right before Extreme Rules. So excited to have Daniel Bryan part of the company for at least the next 2 years. Hopefully they can use that as a bargaining chip to bring in some of these other top names from outside the company in, because everyone wants to work with Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan obviously wants to work with the best in the world. So excited to see where they go there. I'm not sure what Daniel Bryan's going to do for SummerSlam. I would think it'd probably be maybe against The Miz, but they might be saving that now.
Yeah, I'm wondering when Bryan is going to start going after him. He wanted him to come to SmackDown, so
Yeah,
we'll see when that starts up here.
The next match we had after this was, a lot of people thought it might be the main event. It was between Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Two powerhouses, an absolutely physical matchup here. What did you think of this match, Cody?
I was ready for Lashley to beat up Roman. I wanted it. You know what I mean? Roman's been this guy who's it seems like he's whining a lot lately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wanted somebody big enough to go and beat him up. And I enjoyed the match. I really did. I thought they were both very good. Roman had his time, Lashley had his time, and ended the way it did. And I was good. You gave me all I wanted there.
Are you a fan of Bobby Lashley?
I'm not sure. I didn't. Like I said, that was a part of the time where I didn't see. I've been watching some of the networks, so I saw 1 or 2 of his matches, but I don't know if I can say I am a fan of him yet. But I don't think I'm a hater of him yet. That's
right.
For sure. Yeah,
that's a good point. I think he's got the look that Vince McMahon absolutely
loves.
Yeah. Vince McMahon loves
that big muscle bound man.
Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of personality for me.
No.
But either way, it was a really good match here. But surprisingly enough, we saw Bobby Lashley actually pick up the win here, a rare, clean win over Roman Reigns. Were you surprised by this finish?
No. Lashley, They seem to have a run going right now, and I think they want to push him. So with the win, I think. Yeah, I'm totally happy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know the Pittsburgh crowd was happy with it. Anything to see Roman lose,
Yeah.
they were for it. So surprising finish to some there, but overall a very good match. Up next, we had the Raw Women's Championship match. The champion Alexa Bliss defending against Nia Jax in Extreme Rules. With, important to note, Ronda Rousey sitting at ringside here. Overall, a good match. Bliss defended the title successfully after DDTing Nia Jax onto a steel chair, but it did set up a post-match scuffle, I guess you could call it, with Ronda Rousey. Tell me, what are your
in-match scuffle kind of?
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah. But what are your thoughts on Ronda Rousey as a professional wrestler?
As a professional wrestler in WWE, I kind of like what I've seen so far. She hasn't really shown much on television. We've seen her on 2 pay-per-views.
Yes,
and maybe one Raw match.
She was on. I don't think she's had a match on Raw.
She's had a Raw match. Yeah.
She had a match at WrestleMania. She had a match on Money in the Bank, and I think that's it.
We don't have much on her, so we have that, the small sample size.
Yeah.
She has the 1 or 2 really big moves, like the move that she did.
The armbar.
Yeah,
that's her big thing.
And the what's the suplex called that she has?
I think it's just like a Samoan drop suplex combo. I don't know. It might be an actual MMA move. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, that move looks good, but
yeah,
there's a lot yet to be seen from her.
Has she surprised you so far?
No, I think that what she's done so far, I've kind of expected. You know what I mean? I'm ready for another move up. She, make the move, get a couple weeks in a row, and see how she can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely one of those guys on the podcast before a WrestleMania match. I was like, I don't know what to expect from her. MMA and the WWE are different, but she's proven me wrong tenfold. She's absolutely incredible. Looking forward to seeing what she does in the future, and of course, we'll get into more of that as to what happened on Raw. But moving forward here, the WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and Rusev. Are you a fan of Rusev Day?
No.
No, not a
Rusev Day fan.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Are you an AJ Styles fan?
Oh, I'm an AJ Styles fan.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not be? He's the best in the world.
Yeah, no, he's been around for almost 2 years, I guess.
In the WWE?
Yeah.
About 3.
A
little over 3
years.
maybe.
But no, I've liked him so far. Lately more than originally, but he's great in the ring. He's awesome. All his moves are great. I love it when he's on Raw or on SmackDown right now, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I was glad to see Rusev in the WWE title picture because I did think he deserved it. I don't think anyone really expected him to win the title here. It was a good match. AJ Styles wins with a phenomenal forearm, retains the title. Excited to see where they both go from here, what AJ's going to do at SummerSlam. But overall, happy to see Rusev in the title picture.
No, he's in the picture. The fans want it. I totally get what's happening there.
Yeah.
But,
and then lastly, we had our main event of the night. Surprisingly, our main event. It was between Dolph Ziggler defending the Intercontinental Championship against Seth Rollins in a 30-minute Iron Man match. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I was kind of happy that it actually went out last. I thought it was more than deserving of that final spot here. The match goes Rollins starts out early with a 3-0 lead. Drew McIntyre gets involved, hits Rollins with the Claymore. Ziggler covers him to make it 3-1. Ziggler hits a zigzag, makes it 3-2. I think there's a roll-up in there, ties it up. And then the end of the match is McIntyre was originally thrown out and then came back in, distracted him, and then Ziggler picked up the 4-3 in overtime to retain the title. What did you think of this match? What did you think of the booking of it? Tell me your thoughts.
I loved the match. I thought it was great. 30-minute Iron Man match. You're hoping for a lot of pins and a lot of decisions. So, and I'm a Rollins fan. So, right away, I was happy. So, 5 minutes in, he's got a pin. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he gets a second pin. And then I thought Ziggler's, I think his, what do you want to call it? A strategy was the way to go. You know what I mean? Get down early. McIntyre, get in there, help me out.
Right.
And I'll just keep beating him up and keep pinning him. And
helps
see if
to
I can
have
win it back. You know
that
what
bodyguard
I mean?
on the back
So
outside.
I liked it. I liked the strategy by Ziggs. So kind of not happy with the outcome. Obviously,
right.
I like Rollins with the belt, but yeah, I did like the match. I like Ziggs in the ring, and I like Rollins in the ring.
Do you like Ziggler's Intercontinental Champion, or would you have preferred the title to stay on Seth?
I obviously would prefer to stay on
Right.
Seth, but I like Ziggs holding the belt. I mean, he's
a great talker.
He's a great talker. You know, it keeps him in the limelight. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where both guys go from here. Obviously, Ziggler will probably have a match for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. Not sure what Rollins is going to do. He might be in that match again for the Intercontinental title. Might move up to bigger and better things. We're not sure. But that was Extreme Rules. Overall, I thought it was a decent pay-per-view. Not great, but not horrible. We certainly have seen a lot worse this year alone. But we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to start to go into last night's Monday Night Raw. You are listening to Marking Out, Penn State's only professional wrestling exclusive talk show here on Com Radio. Welcome back to Marking Out, Penn State's only professional wrestling exclusive podcast. I'm your host, Jason Marcus, alongside me, Cody Klein. We just finished up wrapping up Extreme Rules. Now we're going towards Monday Night Raw. But before we do that, Cody mentioned to me something that I thought was a great point. There was a really hot Pittsburgh crowd on Sunday for Extreme Rules, very hostile. Cody, I want to get your thoughts on this crowd.
I was really surprised with the way they acted during the main event.
Yeah.
The countdowns. I was very surprised. I thought, this was a great match with Rollins and Ziggs, and they kind of seemed to not want to pay attention to them.
Right, and it's like almost like, what do you want? Because they're going to boo Reigns in the main event.
Yeah.
They was just the hostile crowd takeover, and I don't really like to see that. If you take the crowd out of it, that is a fantastic match, and they really kind of ruined it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just wanted to point out that they were just. I thought it was a kind of a disrespect to Rollins and Ziggs.
Yeah, I agree, but I guess it's better than a quiet crowd. But I don't know.
Right.
But that was Extreme Rules. We're now moving forward to Monday Night Raw last night. It was a really good Monday Night Raw. Started out with a segment between General Manager Kurt Angle calling out Brock Lesnar. As I mentioned before in the Extreme Rules show, he said that if Brock wasn't on Raw to solidify when he was going to defend his title, he would be stripped of the title. So here he is on Raw calling out Lesnar, and lo and behold, he doesn't get Lesnar. Instead, he gets Paul Heyman, his advocate, and Paul Heyman, one of the best managers, talkers, whatever you want to say, of all time. He's phenomenal, and the segment essentially confirms that Lesnar will be defending his Universal Championship at SummerSlam in Brooklyn. What are your thoughts on this whole Lesnar situation?
I was excited to see how it played out. I thought he was gonna come. I thought he was gonna show up.
Thought Lesnar would be there.
I thought
did too.
Lesnar was gonna be there. Not surprised Heyman came out. No, not at all. And I'm good with the SummerSlam thing. It's coming quick, so we'll get it back soon.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to see the title. Get him on the television.
Exactly. In hindsight, I think there's no way they're going to put Brock on television without promoting it first, so people are definitely tuning in.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, we probably should have known. But yeah, it would have been nice to see the Beast on Raw. So that's the opening segment. Kurt Angle also makes the announcement that there would be 2 triple threat matches this night where the winners would face each other next week to determine the number 1 contender for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. So the first of the triple threat matches we got directly after was between Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre. What do you think of this triple threat match?
I think all these guys are deserving. All 6 of them, actually. You know what I mean? They've all been kind of powerhouses lately.
Right.
So, and the first one was, what did you say? It was the Roman match?
Yeah, it was Roman's, Balor, and McIntyre.
Yeah. I was ready to go after it. Balor and Roman have been in some, and McIntyre seems like he's ready to make a push for something here.
Right.
So I was ready for the match.
I thought this could have gone one of 2 ways. I thought it could have either gone Roman or honestly McIntyre because they are looking like they're going to push McIntyre a little bit.
Yeah. I thought maybe it could both. All 3. I think Balor's needs a push too for a major belt.
And it hurts me so much because Finn is so good, and I want to see Finn in that main event picture. But it just painful to know that looking at those 3, I felt like Finn had the least chance to win this. But at the end, Roman Reigns does pick up the win here. McIntyre hits the Claymore on Finn Balor. Reigns take out McIntyre. Reigns then hits a spear on Balor to pick up the 1, 2, 3. So Reigns will be in the number 1 contenders match next week. Then right after that, we had the B team, the newly crowned Raw Tag Team Champions.
B-team.
They pick up a quick win here over the Ascension on Monday Night Raw, followed by a post-match promo with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. So it looks like they're going to be continuing that program here, at least through SummerSlam. What do you think about this? Did you want to see this promo continue, or were you looking to see the B team kind of move in a new direction here?
I know. I kind of like what's going on here. I wanna see them go after it a little bit. You know, I like the Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy connection there.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going good, and the B team seems like they're running well. I would like to see this feud kind of extend a little bit. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think Matt Hardy actually put something out on Twitter that was a little cryptic and made some people think that they were going to split up them. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something along the lines of sometimes we need to split up. I don't remember. Yeah. But they made people think that they were going to split up.
You never understand what Hardy's saying sometimes,
right,
anyways. So.
Yeah, exactly. You never understand. So I think that obviously that program looks like it's going to continue. I'm excited about that, and I think it will be sooner rather than later, though, that we see the Authors of Pain in there. Speaking of the Authors of Pain, they also had a match on Raw last night, defeating Titus Worldwide, Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. Do you like Authors of Pain? I know you said you weren't a big fan of NXT. Have you seen much of their work?
We haven't seen it, and they were up gone for a little while, so haven't even missed of it. But they seem to be another dominating force coming, kind of Bludgeon Brothers type. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm another Vince McMahon style, wrestler. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're Samoan too, which helps.
Oh.
So. Even better. They got everything. They're big, they're Samoan, they're getting pushed to the moon.
Part of the heritage, going in.
Exactly. So after the B team defeated the Ascension, we had a segment where Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler comes out, cuts a promo saying, Seth Rollins did so much for the title, but he's no Dolph Ziggler. This leads to Bobby Roode coming out, challenging for the Intercontinental Championship match. Ziggler accepts to a match, but not for the Intercontinental title. But they do have a match here on Raw where Ziggler picks up a win here clean over Bobby Roode. Give me your thoughts here on Bobby Roode, because I think when we did the Superstar Shakeup show, I was sitting here with Ryan Simpson, and we were talking about who do you think gets hurt the most from the shakeup, and Ryan correctly predicted that Roode would be the person most hurt from this because there's just so many people on Raw. He wasn't on Extreme Rules last night. He gets pinned clean here on Raw. Where do you see Bobby Roode going from here? Because I don't know what you do with him.
I'm not sure what they're doing right now. Like, I like him. I liked him when he came right on SmackDown. I was really into it. You love his entrance.
It's glorious.
Yeah. And I'd like to see more of him. I was kind of confused with this match too.
Yeah, I feel like honestly he'd be better off if they just put him back on SmackDown. I think he'd be better off right now. There's just too many people on Raw.
Plus, I think he has better feuds with those guys over there. Those guys that match up with like him and Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, Orton, even Andrade Almas. I'd love to see a Roode Almas feud.
Yeah.
So I think he's better off on SmackDown. I don't foresee that happening, but it'll be interesting to see what he does coming towards SummerSlam because he wasn't on the show last night or on Extreme Rules, and he got pinned clean on Raw. So not looking great for Bobby Roode right now, the glorious one.
No.
After that, we had another squash match, surprisingly, between Mojo Rawley and Tyler Breeze. I can't believe I'm even asking this question, but do you like Mojo Rawley? What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with him right now.
Yeah.
Before I was like a hype bro guy. I liked him.
Really?
You know what I mean? I was into it, but then, we lose internet champion to the shoulder surgery, and then they come back and break him up.
Are you a big Zack Ryder fan?
I kind of am.
I like it. That's awesome. But yeah, so Mojo's so interesting because I believe it was WrestleMania 33. He won that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal with the help of Rob Gronkowski.
And they connected Gronkowski with them.
Yeah.
Had a good guy persona, you
know
what I mean?
But then nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing.
And
they pushed Jinder after that.
They pushed Jinder.
What the heck?
And he was the one who lost.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. WWE booking is fickle at best sometimes. But Mojo Rawley gets a quick win here over Tyler Breeze. He looks actually really decent on here. But like we were saying with Bobby Roode, there's just so many guys on Raw. I don't see Mojo...
He's just in the ocean, and hopefully he'll jump up and
is
see him
that the
once
next
in a while.
feud? Is it Mojo Bobby Roode at SummerSlam? If that's the case, I don't know. That's just a red flag. I'd leave. If you're in a program with Mojo Rawley at SummerSlam, that's I don't know. But anyway, so that was Mojo's moment. We talked about Authors of Pain defeating Titus Worldwide. After that, we had another promo segment with Alexa Bliss in the ring talking about how she's beaten everybody on Raw, she's beaten everybody on SmackDown, she's still the Raw Women's Champion. And from the crowd, out comes Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, looking intimidating as ever, gets into a scuffle with Alexa Bliss, gets her in an armbar. She's pulled out of the ring, but Kurt Angle at the end of the program comes out and makes it official that Alexa Bliss will defend the Raw Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. I think we all saw this coming, but Cody, what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to this match?
My thoughts. I'm wondering why nothing was said about Rousey's performance from the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she would get some sort of punishment from that.
Well, they said that she got an additional week suspension, but that just basically
again, we just don't see her on TV.
Yeah,
you know?
like it's.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm into it. I'm ready for Rousey to get in the ring. But we'll see what happens here with Bliss. I kind of like she's running with it, but Nia, I feel like Nia should be in the mix though.
Right, but there's so many people on Raw because you got Bliss, Rousey, Nia, and then the next segment we're going to talk about is Sasha and Bayley. So the Raw division specifically is really an Ember Moon.
Yeah, it is saturated on Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people in that title picture. Obviously, I think Rousey's the biggest draw, and obviously Bliss is your champion. But it is interesting to see where Nia Jax goes from here. But who knows? But continuing with the women, we had a tag team match between the team of Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. Ends in a double count out here. And then afterwards, there's this odd segment where Bayley is like, I thought you loved me, and Sasha's like, oh, I've always loved you. And I don't know if they're going for some pseudo-lesbian angle here.
Yeah, you're not sure. Well, you get totally caught off guard with the way she says everything.
And I'm just so disappointed because these women deserve so much more than what they're getting right now. Sasha Banks is one of, if not the best female worker on your roster. And right now she's in a love triangle storyline with Bayley. And Cody, what are they doing right now?
I don't know, man. I'm confused. I
yes.
feel like they're like, what do we do with Bayley? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like she's a fan favorite, but you just don't.
But sometimes she's been acting very heel, and it's like, why would you turn Bayley heel? She's the purest white meat babyface female on the roster.
All the little girls love her. You
right.
know what I mean? And
Sasha Banks is a good heel too,
yeah.
and it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and you're trying to get the younger crowd. You would think they would be like pull for the younger crowd. So I don't know. We'll see where they go from here with this. But lesbian, I'm not so sure that's the way to go.
I don't know what is happening now. I just know that this program needs to end. They need to both move on to different things. They are too talented to be doing this crap.
Angle did say they could trade one of them. So
do you think one of them will get traded?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that was thrown out there, and yeah.
If one of them gets traded, who do you think it is?
It seems like you don't want to get rid of the boss, so Bayley probably gets traded.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I think that honestly might be a better career move for her. Put her in a feud with Carmella. You get Bayley Asuka over there. Bayley Charlotte Flair we haven't seen in a while. So there's some fresh matchups there.
Plus Bayley and Charlotte have been in connection with each other for a while.
Right.
I know from their
NXT. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was an odd segment. Another women's segment right after that between Ember Moon and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. Ember Moon looks fantastic. She doesn't get the win here. She actually ends her Raw winning streak. She went for the Eclipse. Sarah Logan knocked her off the top rope and just pinned her. So an odd finish there, but nonetheless, Ember Moon, one of those stars from the Raw women's division that is looking like she really is another one who I think is in line for a title push soon. It's just so difficult with the amount of talent on Raw.
Well, they're bringing a lot in for, the Royal Rumble match again.
That's true.
I mean, that's coming back soon.
Another thing, they announced that they're having the second annual Mae Young Classic, which is that tournament of all female superstars.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of the main roster people are going to be on there. It's going to be a lot of like new developmental women that they're trying to like just build up. But yeah, it's a really good time. As far as the volume of the women's division, there's a lot of really good wrestlers there.
Yeah, you just don't get to see all of them all the time.
Right, and they don't have a lot of very good creative ideas for them. Like we were just saying, the Bayley Sasha thing was horrible, is horrible. The Nia Jax bully, be a star thing she had with Alexa Bliss a couple months ago. She beat Alexa Bliss and then cut a promo and then turned heel, and it was so odd.
And then she's kind of not heel again.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, no one knows. I don't think they know what they're doing. So. Yeah, I mean, women's division is good talent-wise, horrible creative-wise. So hopefully they get their act together.
Yeah, I'm ready for Nia to just go on a run. I feel like she has to be dominant, and like they have to get her to like maybe hit a switch. And just go on a streak. Or
I think they need to start building for Rousey's challenger, assuming Rousey wins the title. Maybe not at SummerSlam, but you're going to put the belt on her some point very soon. You got to start building up for that when that time comes, who's going to be the challenger there. So maybe that is Nia.
Yeah.
Because we did see Rousey, Nia, and Money in the Bank. So I don't know if they would go back to that given the amount of talent that's on that roster. But, yeah, you do pose a good question. What are we doing with Nia now? Because she seems like her title reign's over.
Yeah.
Pushes might be over too. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
maybe there's another trade.
Maybe there is another trade. The women's division could use a shakeup because also, while we're at it, let's just talk about the SmackDown side of things too. We talked about Carmella, Asuka as well. Obviously, Charlotte Flair is hurt at the moment, but other than that, it feels like it's just so top-heavy because all the women are on Raw and nobody's on SmackDown.
Yeah, you're right. You just see Carmella
and Asuka.
So we lost Charlotte. Who else is there? I'm not sure.
There's
I can't even think
Absolution. Mandy Rose and
you can't forget about the Goddess.
Yeah, well,
and I did.
Well, exactly. We just did.
But see, I don't know. They are.
I think it makes a lot of.
They lost Paige, and they lost their. I think they lost their run, their direction.
Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of start moving some of that talent from Raw to SmackDown right now.
Yeah.
Because they need it. It's best for both worlds, I think. Because it's too crowded on Raw and there's nobody on SmackDown. So it makes a lot of logistical sense. But that's enough about the women's division. Up next, we had our main event of Monday Night Raw between Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Elias in this triple threat match. Who did you think was going to win this match?
Well, I kind of thought once Roman won, Bobby was going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? They've both been
working together.
Working at getting toward the belt, and that's what they both want. And I don't know. Bobby won again last night, so you got to think, well, here we go again, rematch for the number one contendership.
Yep, and you are right. Bobby Lashley does come out victorious within this triple threat match after a spear. I think it's so interesting, too, because they're having Lashley and Reigns work together. Both of their finishers are spears. Lashley did have that stalling vertical suplex, which was awful. But
I feel like he tried to do the jackknife or the
power bomb, the power slam.
No, Goldberg's move.
Jackhammer.
The jackhammer.
Yeah.
I feel like he tried to do it, but just didn't get all the way.
I'd like to see him do the. I mean, I guess it's just Goldberg's thing, and they don't want to do that.
Maybe.
But I feel like that's better than his just vertical suplex.
Yeah.
He's just dumb. But
now the spear is the spear. Everyone can do it too, you know.
That's true.
Edge kind of proved that.
Right. Well, yeah. I was also very curious too because I know you said you didn't watch a lot of his runs at WWE from 10 years ago, but when he first came to the company, he was using the Dominator as a finishing move, Ron Simmons' old move. And I actually really liked that. So I was surprised that I understood why they didn't want to give him the Power Slam again because that's bronze now. And I understand why they didn't want to give him the spear because that's Roman's. So I thought the next best thing was, we'll just use the move that he came into the company with that no one's using. But they said they went with a vertical suplex, and that was a horrible decision, and I hope they're done with it because that's the worst looking finisher. Who believes that? Who gets beat with a suplex?
Yeah, come on.
So I don't know. But Bobby Lashley does get the win here in this triple threat match. Will now face Roman Reigns in the main event next week to determine the number one contender for the WWE Universal Championship at SummerSlam. That's a mouthful, but I'm excited of it. We'll talk next week about the finish of it, but give me your thoughts. Are you excited for this match next week?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I guess, once it comes about. I feel like we just saw it. You know what I mean?
Who would you rather face Brock at SummerSlam, Roman or Bobby
honestly,
Lashley?
I would rather see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar in an MMA match and how quickly Bobby would beat the crap out of Lesnar.
You think so? You think Lashley would beat Lesnar?
I think Lesnar is so out of shape, man. Like, I don't think he would last.
I hope he's not listening to this.
I don't know. We'll see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to see Lashley go. I mean, I am not with the majority. I do kind of like Roman, but he's kind of run his like. He made his run out a little bit.
He's run his course.
Yeah, he's run his course. So
At the same time,
I'm ready to
though,
see Lashley.
He's
You
the
know
big
what I mean?
dog. He's going to keep getting pushed no matter what.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week.
Yep. So next week, your main event, Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns for the number one contendership for the WWE Universal Championship. And that was Monday Night Raw. Overall, I thought it was a very good show. Started to build more towards SummerSlam. I'm excited to see what happens going forward. It's a good time to be a professional wrestling fan. Any final thoughts before we sign off here, Cody?
I'm just excited to see what happens next week, and looking forward to tonight for the recap after Extreme Rules on SmackDown.
Absolutely, and Cody said here, you will catch us next Thursday, this Thursday, 2 days from now, at noon. We'll be talking about the recap of SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, maybe some Impact Wrestling if they're doing anything exciting. And then, of course, we will update you on the current status of the G1 Climax tournament over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also, some big news out of Ring of Honor that we'll talk about on Thursday at noon. But that'll do it for this episode of Marking Out. Thank you guys so much for listening. From Cody Klein and myself, we will see you guys again on Thursday. So thank you guys so much for listening, and take care now. Bye-bye.